Hi, this is Mrs. Anderson, and today I'm going to be going over your Son is Also a Star vocabulary words. There are 20 words in total, and as you are watching this video, please take notes on the parts of speech and the definition, as well as think of some student-friendly definitions in order to prepare you for the summative assessment. This video will also be on my YouTube channel, Anderson SF Lancer, if you need to rewatch it anytime again in the near future. So we're starting with the word debonair, which is an adjective, and it means confident, stylish, and charming. And typically this is a word that's used in reference to someone who is male, similar to the way handsome is. So for the picture here, I have Snoopy, and he looks particularly debonair because notice he's wearing a top hat and a vest in addition to his suit top, which probably has tails on it as well. So for the next word, we have incredulous, which is an adjective. And if you are incredulous, you're unwilling or unable to believe something. I would like to point out that it ends in an OUS, the suffix, and a lot of times other words that ends in OUS are adjectives as well. So the picture we have here is the incredulity of St. Thomas. St. Thomas was often known as Doubting Thomas. He was one of the later apostles of Jesus, and he said he wouldn't believe that Jesus had actually risen from the dead until he had a chance to inspect the nail holes in his hand and feel the cut in the side. So you see him checking it out here because he really couldn't believe that Jesus had risen from the dead. So the third word is futile. That's an adjective that means incapable of producing a useful result or pointless. So in this photo, the poor little chick's efforts to get away from the cat are futile. He's probably going to be the cat's next meal. So the fourth word is erudite. And if you're familiar with the book Divergent, you know that erudite was one of the factions that Tris could be part of. If you're erudite, you're having or showing great knowledge or learning. It is also an adjective. And this explains why people who wanted to be part of the erudite faction often wore glasses and carried around books because they wanted to look scholarly, which is how this young lad looks as he's up in his bunk bed reading a book. So the next word is paradox. A paradox is a noun. Notice that when you look at the definition, it starts with something because nouns are persons, places, or things. And a paradox is something that is made up of two opposite things and that seems impossible and yet is perhaps true. So I have this Lego structure here that seems like it's a Lego structure that's holding up, but really shouldn't. I know it's not the best picture of a paradox, but it's the best I could do. I apologize. So the sixth word is aforementioned, which is an adjective. And fortunately, the parts of the word can kind of help you with the definition. So aforementioned means mentioned previously. So just as you see mentioned, it has to do with something that somebody spoke about. And afore, in terms of it happened earlier or before. So in this particular picture, Bugs gave Daffy two choices, and Daffy is going with the earlier or the previously mentioned option, which is to shoot the rabbit now. The next word is exasperation. Notice it ends in a shun for the suffix, and a lot of words that end in shun, like vacation, are also nouns as well. The definition of exasperation is a feeling of intense irritation or annoyance, and you can see this on this boyfriend's face as he has a very, very small trunk to his car, but his girlfriend has overpacked for this trip. If you've ever heard the expression, I've had it up to here, it's a good way of people expressing their exasperation. The eighth word is cynical. Cynical is an adjective, and cynical is believing that people are generally selfish and dishonest. So it's an incredibly pessimistic view of the world. And the picture here is of a street artist who walks around with a sign essentially saying that he feels that people are greedy and selfish. The next word, benevolence, would not necessarily be something that cynical people believe in. Benevolence is a noun, and it's the quality of being well-meaning or kindness. So you can see the benevolence of this couple as they help this old man across the street. They're doing it just to be kind to him. The next word is discern. And in the book, Natasha, the main character, says she would like to be a data scientist because part of that job requires people to discern patterns. To discern is a verb. Notice that the definition begins with to give you an idea that it is an action. And if you are discerning something, you're perceiving or recognizing it. you're detecting it with the eyes. So that's why I have a photo of a giant eye to help remind you of that part of the definition. The next word is nebulous. And again, we have an adjective that ends in OUS. Remember that suffix usually indicates that it's a word that's going to describe something. And in this case, nebulous is a description of something that's unclear, vague, or ill-defined. So if you look at this picture of wallpaper, you can't really tell what the pattern or the image is because it is so unclear. So one of the things that The Sun is Also a Star does is it has chapters by a third-person omniscient narrator to give you historical or scientific facts. Some of the scientific facts that they discuss in this book are the chemical reactions that happen due to people being in love. So for dopamine, the narrator informs us that the second stage of love is attraction, and that's governed by dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is actually a noun, and it's a chemical substance or a hormone in the brain that sends messages between nerve cells regarding sensations of pleasure. So that's why love is such an overpowering emotion for people, because it gives you the same kind of feelings of euphoria that other pleasurable things in our life, good food, or in some cases illegal substances, it duplicates that feeling. So another hormone that's important and develops during the stage of love is serotonin. Serotonin is a noun, and it's a chemical substance or hormone that's also in your brain, that's a neurotransmitter, and it helps with mood regulation and memory. So having either too much or not enough serotonin can be damaging and cause either anxiety or depression in some individuals. So the picture I have here is a woman doing a yoga pose, and she's incredibly balanced, indicating that perhaps her serotonin levels are at the correct spot and able to regulate her moods accordingly. So euphoria is a noun, and it's a feeling of intense excitement and happiness. When I discussed the word dopamine, I talked about how taking illegal substances often releases dopamine in individuals. And in the book, they are going to point out that taking cocaine fosters the same level of euphoria as people in love. So now you know why some people say that love is a drug. So word number 15 is copacetic. Copacetic is an adjective, and it's a way to say that you're completely satisfactory, you're fine. A really good student-friendly definition for copacetic is being okay. So if you look at the people in this picture, they're doing okay. They look very relaxed. They look very chill, which is a good way to think of copacetic. The next word is existential. And existential is an adjective, and it's relating to existence or being alive. So you can see Calvin being existential here in this comic strip as he wonders why men create and the purpose of why he's creating the snowman. Is it to try to figure out the meaning of life, or is it just something he's doing because he's bored? Word number 17 is assertion. An assertion is a noun. Again, notice the suffix tion that's helping you out with a part of speech. And an assertion is a confident and forceful statement of fact or belief. So I have a number of people engaged in a debate, and I'm sure that the individual who's talking with his hand up is confident or forceful in his statement, hence the use of the hand gesture to make sure that people truly understand his point. Your 18th word is haggardly. Again, we have a suffix hint with the ly to indicate that we have an adverb. And if you're looking haggardly, you're looking exhausted and unwell. It is not a compliment for someone to say that you are looking haggardly. So the second to last word is nihilism. It is a noun, and seeing that ism, that ism suffix, lets you know that it is a noun and it means the practice of. So in this case, nihilism is a philosophy or something that somebody practices that denies the existence of moral truths, such as knowledge, and believes in the ultimate meaninglessness of life. So in this particular piece of artwork that I have in the corner here, shows a woman lounging on her bed looking like she's not capable of getting up because she really believes that life is hopeless or meaningless. So what's the point of getting up in the morning? And the last word is digression. Digression is a noun, and it is a temporary departure from the main subject. I liked this particular image because your main subject in the image should be driving your car. So if you are really looking in your side mirror in order to see the plane take off or depart, it should be a temporary look in that mirror because you want to make sure that you get back to driving and make sure that you don't crash. So those are your 20 words. Please make sure that you're studying the parts of speech and the definitions in order to help you for the summative assessment. Take care, and I will see you in class.